Did a royal princess just draw a hard line inside the palace? Reports began swirling that Princess and privately opposed Queen Camilla attending the future coronation of Prince William. No official announcement confirmed this claim, yet insiders hinted at tense talks. The shocking part: royal protocol rarely allows personal disagreements to shape state ceremonies. So what really happened behind closed palace doors, and why would such a decision shake the monarchy? The story begins with a whisper inside palace walls, the kind that never reaches microphones but somehow travels across the world. At the center of the storm was Princess and, known for her iron discipline and fierce loyalty to royal duty. Unlike many senior royals, she rarely seeks attention. In fact, she is often called the hardest-working royal, attending more official engagements each year than almost anyone else in the family. That reputation alone makes any rumor about her actions feel serious. But this time, the whispers were different. They claimed and privately opposed Queen Camilla playing a visible role at the future coronation of Prince William. No official statement confirmed this. Yet insiders allegedly hinted at tense discussions about symbolism, hierarchy, and the future image of the monarchy. Shocking fact: coronation rolls are not random. Every step, seat, and title position is mapped years in advance through confidential planning committees. Princess Anne's background matters here. She grew up watching royal crises unfold from close range, including public scandals that tested the monarchy's unity. Another surprising detail is that Anne has historically supported strict adherence to protocol, even when it placed her own popularity at risk. That makes observers wonder if her alleged stance, if true, was less personal and more about protecting tradition. The event that sparked the drama was not a public argument, but reportedly a quiet internal discussion about future ceremonial symbolism. In royal culture, symbolism equals power. Who stands beside the future king can send a message about loyalty, legacy, and continuity. Even subtle adjustments can be interpreted as signals about the monarchy's direction. As whispers leaked, royal watchers began connecting dots to older tensions that had once shaped palace relationships. Another lesser-known fact: private disagreements within the royal household have historically been recorded only in letters released decades later, meaning the public often learns the truth years after the conflict ends. The tension grew quickly. Was this truly a personal objection, or a strategic debate about how the next reign should look to the world? And if these discussions were happening quietly behind palace doors, what else about the future coronation was being decided in secret? To understand what may have really happened, we need to step behind the velvet curtains of palace planning. Royal ceremonies are not arranged in a week or even a year. They are drafted decades in advance, revised quietly, and debated in confidential meetings that the public never sees. A surprising fact: planning for future coronations often begins during the reign of the current monarch, long before succession is even close. Insiders allegedly described a series of discreet discussions focused on the long-term image of the monarchy under Prince William. These talks were not about personalities alone. They were about symbolism, hierarchy, and how a future king should present a modern but stable crown. That phrase has reportedly guided many strategic conversations in recent years. It suggests a monarchy that is smaller, more focused, and carefully curated in public ceremonies. Another lesser-known fact is that royal households often run internal scenario exercises. These are private rehearsals of possible future events, from state funerals to coronations. During such exercises, advisors debate who should appear, who should lead processions, and how each visual moment will be interpreted by the public. This means the rumored disagreement may have come from a planning scenario rather than a personal clash. Sources claimed that during one such discussion, concerns were raised about balancing continuity with renewal. On one side was the idea that Queen Camilla, as a senior royal figure, represents stability and loyalty to the current reign. On the other side was the argument that William's coronation might aim to signal a generational shift, highlighting the next era of the monarchy. That subtle difference could create tension without any open confrontation. Here is a striking fact: ceremonial placement has historically been used to send political and emotional messages. Historians note that even the distance between two royals in a procession can symbolize alliance, neutrality, or quiet rivalry. This level of detail is rarely explained publicly, yet it shapes every major royal event. Character motivations also matter. Princess Anne has spent decades protecting what she sees as the core dignity of royal duty. She is known to favor clarity over confusion, tradition over improvisation. If she raised concerns in private planning talks, they may have been framed as institutional advice rather than personal opposition. Still, when such opinions leak, they are quickly reshaped into dramatic headlines about blocking or excluding. Meanwhile, public speculation began growing online. Commentators debated whether the monarchy was preparing for a leaner future image or simply managing ceremonial balance. Another surprising detail: royal planners monitor public reactions to hypothetical scenarios, using them to test how future decisions might be received. In other words, even rumors can become unofficial public opinion experiments. Yet one mystery remained hidden. If these conversations were purely strategic, why did whispers about personal tension surface at all? And was someone inside the palace intentionally allowing these hints to escape, hoping to shape the narrative before any official decision was ever made? The moment the whispers escaped palace walls, the media storm began. Headlines appeared within hours, each one more dramatic than the last. Commentators debated whether Princess Anne had truly taken a stand against Queen Camilla, or whether the entire story was a misunderstanding of quiet planning talks. Shocking fact: royal rumors often travel faster than official announcements because palace policy usually avoids immediate denial, allowing speculation to grow unchecked. Television panels, online blogs, and royal analysts all tried to decode the supposed block. Some claimed it reflected deep personal history inside the royal household. Others insisted it was about strategy, not emotion. Another surprising detail is that the British royal family has long relied on controlled silence as a communication tactic. By saying nothing, they sometimes let stories fade naturally, or grow into something much larger than expected. The media reaction quickly turned into a frenzy. Old interviews, archived photos, and past public appearances were re-examined for hidden clues. Analysts replayed footage of formal events, studying body language between senior royals. Here is a lesser-known fact: media outlets often use visual symbolism, like who stands beside whom, to build narratives about royal alliances, even when no official tension exists. Meanwhile, palace aides reportedly followed a familiar strategy: maintain calm, avoid comment, and monitor public reaction. This approach has historical precedent. During previous royal controversies, silence was used to prevent a rumor from becoming an official constitutional issue. That tactic can protect the institution, but it can also make the story feel more mysterious, as if something important is being hidden. Another striking fact is that the monarchy has faced similar media storms before. During past royal disagreements, the press often framed private debates as dramatic personal rivalries. Years later, official biographies sometimes revealed that those rivalries were actually strategic discussions about duty and protocol. This pattern made some observers question whether the current frenzy was repeating an old cycle. As coverage intensified, public curiosity reached a peak. Social media polls, opinion pieces, and expert interviews tried to predict what a future coronation might look like. The more the media speculated, the more the alleged conflict seemed real, even without confirmation. Tension escalated daily, turning a private planning rumor into a global talking point. But there was one unsettling question no one could answer. If the royal family was staying silent, were they simply dismissing the rumor, or quietly negotiating behind closed doors while the media storm raged outside? As the media noise grew louder, attention shifted from public headlines to private relationships inside the royal household. Royal families, like any families, carry long memories. And in this case, observers began wondering whether old emotional wounds were quietly shaping new ceremonial debates. At the center of these questions stood Princess Anne, a figure known for loyalty, discipline, and an almost military sense of duty. She has often been described by insiders as someone who values the institution above personal comfort. But what about the rest of the family? Reports suggested that different royals might view the future coronation through very different lenses. Some might prioritize unity and continuity, while others might see the event as a chance to signal a new era. Here is a surprising fact: internal royal disagreements about symbolism are not unusual. Historical records show that even small ceremonial details, like carriage order or balcony placement, have sparked intense private debates in the past. The alleged tension also brought renewed focus on Queen Camilla and her long journey toward acceptance within both the public and the royal circle. Another lesser-known detail is that her integration into senior royal life involved years of careful relationship building behind the scenes. That gradual acceptance process may still influence how certain ceremonial roles are emotionally perceived by some family members, even today. Insiders speculated about private conversations held in quiet palace rooms, far from cameras and microphones. These meetings, if they occurred, would not have been confrontational shouting matches. Royal protocol encourages calm discussion, respectful disagreement, and strategic compromise. Still, the emotional weight of history can quietly shape even the most polite conversations. One shocking fact: diaries from past royal generations reveal that some of the most significant internal conflicts were conducted through handwritten notes rather than face-to-face arguments. Comparisons to earlier royal divides soon emerged. Commentators recalled how personal and institutional tensions shaped events during major transitions in the past. They pointed to moments when family unity appeared strong in public but was reportedly fragile in private. This historical pattern fueled speculation that the current rumor might reflect deeper concerns about how the monarchy should present itself during the next reign. Attention also turned toward the perspective of the future king, Prince William. William has often spoken about balancing tradition with a modern approach. That vision could naturally create debate among senior royals about which symbols best represent continuity and which signal renewal. Another striking fact is that future monarchs sometimes face subtle internal negotiations years before they officially ascend the throne, shaping expectations long before any ceremony occurs. So the alleged divide may not have been a simple disagreement between two individuals. It could represent a wider conversation about legacy, loyalty, and the emotional history carried by every member of the royal family. But one unsettling question remained. If these discussions were truly about strategy and symbolism, why did they suddenly feel so personal, and was the family quietly bracing for an even larger revelation yet to come? As the rumors intensified, constitutional experts and royal historians quickly stepped into the conversation. The reason was simple but surprising: a coronation is not just a family ceremony, it is a state event shaped by law, tradition, and government coordination. That means no single royal, not even a senior princess, could officially block another without broader institutional agreement. This legal reality immediately cast doubt on the dramatic headlines, yet it also raised deeper questions about how much influence internal advice can carry during ceremonial planning. Here is a crucial fact: major royal ceremonies are planned through confidential committees involving the royal household, church officials, and government representatives. These committees examine historical precedent, constitutional symbolism, and diplomatic protocol before confirming any participant's role. That process makes it extremely difficult for personal disagreements alone to determine final decisions. Still, even informal influence within such discussions can shape how plans evolve behind closed doors. Public backlash began building as commentators debated whether the alleged dispute revealed a deeper struggle over the monarchy's future image. Supporters of Queen Camilla argued that excluding her from any central role would appear as a rejection of the current reign's legacy. Others believed a future coronation for Prince William might intentionally highlight a generational shift. This divide showed how symbolism alone could trigger emotional responses across the public. Another lesser-known legal detail added complexity. Royal precedence rules are based on rank and constitutional function, not personal popularity. That means if Camilla retains her official status at the time of a future coronation, protocol would strongly favor her presence in a defined ceremonial role. Changing that role would require careful justification grounded in precedent, not just preference. This nuance made the rumored block sound less like a legal act and more like an advisory debate that was later dramatized. Meanwhile, palace communication teams reportedly faced a familiar dilemma: respond and risk amplifying the story, or remain silent and allow speculation to fade. Historically, the monarchy often chooses silence. A shocking fact: during several past controversies, palace aides intentionally delayed responses so public attention would shift naturally to new topics. This tactic protects institutional stability, but it can also make rumors feel more mysterious and believable. The personal impact on family members, though unconfirmed, became a topic of intense speculation. Analysts suggested that repeated public questioning about loyalty and hierarchy could place emotional strain on relationships, even when the individuals involved remain outwardly respectful. Royal life demands composure, yet private feelings can still be affected by constant scrutiny. This emotional dimension is rarely discussed but deeply human. Another striking legal insight involves diplomatic protocol. Coronations are attended by world leaders and foreign royals, meaning any visible family exclusion could be interpreted internationally as a sign of internal division. Such optics could influence diplomatic perception of stability within the monarchy. This is why planners typically avoid decisions that might suggest personal conflict, preferring inclusive symbolism whenever possible. As debates continued, one major mystery remained unresolved. Were these rumors exposing a genuine internal disagreement about ceremonial symbolism, or were they simply the public misreading routine planning discussions? And if legal structures made a true block unlikely, what unseen negotiation was actually unfolding inside palace walls? In the end, the truth about this alleged royal clash did not arrive with a dramatic announcement or an official denial. Instead, it unfolded the way most palace tensions do, quietly, slowly, and far from public view. The monarchy has survived for centuries not by reacting loudly, but by adjusting carefully behind closed doors. And that pattern appears to have shaped how this controversy reached its final stage. One important fact stands out: future coronation plans are not fixed documents. They are living frameworks, revised again and again as circumstances, public expectations, and royal roles evolve. This means any rumored disagreement, even if real at some point, could be softened or restructured long before the ceremony itself ever happens. In royal planning, flexibility is a hidden tool of survival. Attention then turned to the broader leadership style guiding the institution today under King Charles III. His reign has emphasized gradual modernization without shocking traditionalists. That careful balance likely influences every discussion about future ceremonies. Another lesser-known fact: senior royals often hold internal briefings where different symbolic options are reviewed, debated, and sometimes quietly merged into a compromise solution that satisfies both tradition and future vision. For Princess Anne, the alleged controversy reinforced her long-standing reputation as a guardian of institutional discipline. She has spent decades placing duty above personal preference, and insiders frequently describe her advice as direct but rooted in preserving stability. If she did express concerns in planning conversations, those concerns were likely framed around clarity of hierarchy and continuity of royal symbolism rather than personal exclusion. Still, once such discussions leak, they take on a life of their own in public imagination. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla remained publicly composed, continuing her official engagements without visible reaction to the swirling rumors. This silence itself became a powerful message. A surprising fact: royal advisors sometimes recommend complete composure during controversies because visible emotional responses can unintentionally confirm that a rumor touches a sensitive truth. By staying steady, a royal figure can subtly signal confidence in their institutional position. As weeks passed, the narrative slowly shifted. Commentators began suggesting that the rumored block was less about a final decision and more about an early-stage strategic debate that was exaggerated once it reached the media. This interpretation aligns with historical precedent. Many past royal planning disagreements, once portrayed as deep family feuds, were later revealed in memoirs and biographies to be routine discussions about presentation, precedence, and long-term symbolism. The consequences of the controversy, however, were real even without official confirmation. It highlighted how fragile public perception of unity can be. It also showed how quickly modern media can transform a quiet advisory opinion into a dramatic storyline about rivalry and power. Another revealing fact: palace planners increasingly factor in media reaction scenarios when drafting future ceremonial plans, meaning rumors themselves can influence how final decisions are shaped. For the future king, Prince William, the episode served as an early reminder of the delicate balance he will one day inherit. A coronation is not only a sacred ritual, it is also a global broadcast of the monarchy's identity. Every face seen beside the monarch sends a message about unity, legacy, and direction. If internal debates occur, they are not necessarily signs of weakness. They can instead reflect the monarchy's attempt to adapt thoughtfully to a changing world. Another striking insight emerged from historians studying similar past controversies. They noted that the most successful royal transitions were those where disagreements were resolved privately, leaving the final ceremony to appear harmonious and seamless to the public. This pattern suggests that even if strong opinions were exchanged behind palace doors, the ultimate goal would always be a unified public image when the historic day finally arrives. So the final reckoning was not a dramatic confrontation or a public exclusion. It was a quiet recalibration, a subtle understanding that ceremonial symbolism must honor both continuity and evolution. The monarchy did what it has done for generations: absorb the tension, reshape the plan, and move forward without revealing every internal debate that shaped the outcome. Yet one provocative mystery remains. Did this controversy simply reveal the normal inner workings of royal planning, or did it expose deeper unresolved tensions about how the next era of the monarchy should look? And if those tensions truly exist beneath the surface, what future decision might one day bring them fully into the light? This scandal, confirmed or not, offers a rare glimpse into the hidden mechanics of the British monarchy. It shows how much thought goes into every ceremonial gesture, every position in a procession, and every symbolic appearance. Even whispers of disagreement can ripple outward, shaping public perception of unity, loyalty, and the monarchy's relevance in a modern world. Shocking fact. Historians say that most major royal crises that seem dramatic to the public are often routine institutional debates behind closed doors. The lasting impact of this controversy is not about a single rumored conflict, but about the monarchy's ability to balance tradition with evolution. Every generation faces the challenge of preserving legacy while remaining relevant to the public. If Princess Anne's alleged concerns were real, they reflected an enduring question. How does the monarchy honor its past while embracing the future? Similarly, Camilla's journey into full acceptance demonstrates that public image and private reconciliation can reshape royal narratives over decades. And yet, the story leaves us with an open question. Are these rumors a one-off episode, magnified by the media and modern fascination with royal drama, or do they hint at deeper, unresolved debates about the monarchy's future? The answer may never fully emerge, but it reminds us that behind the glittering crowns and ceremonial robes lies a complex world of negotiation, symbolism, and unspoken strategy. Do you think the royal family will ever fully recover from scandals like this? What would have happened if a different ceremonial decision had been made? Should the royal family change their approach to secrecy in modern times? If you want more royal secrets, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay updated on the latest exposé.